All right, hi Timothy. So my name is Veronica. I'm the owner and founder of McCalep, and this is your McCalep free website analysis. We're going to go ahead and dive right in. So here on your website, so the first impression I have of this is we're in what together? Is this divorce law? Is this personal injury law, etc.? On smaller screens, that's not going to show up. Here I can see along the bottom that you are doing personal injury and criminal defense. But when I had this site minimized a bit, rather than being in full screen, I actually couldn't see that. So I would love to have that be just a little bit more obvious. However, I do appreciate that there is call to action right up front and here as well, although this is not linked. So this should be linked because I know the contact button is here, but this is what I'm reading. This is what my eyes are on. So this is what I would suggest to be linked. And then just right off the bat, I feel like it's okay branding, but it doesn't feel very branded. Yeah, so I would like it to be a little bit more like firm, strong foot forward. Okay, so I'm gonna just make sure that this works. Seems to loading pretty okay. So now I'm assuming we're on the, okay. So even though we're not on the contact page, so this is on every single page anyway. So why does that, here's what I'm curious about. We have a contact button that does not go to the contact page. It goes to your about page, which I think is okay, but then we're missing the point of the about page. So I suggest making a choice here with this button, either contact or find out more about Tim. And that's the way that I would do it. The other thing is here you're saying your name is Tim, but everywhere else is Timothy. So what do you want us to call you? Okay. So just to continue, since I happen to have your about page open, and that's the next button here. So I appreciate that we're in it together. This probably could be a little bit smaller so it lines up here, but on different sites or on different screen sizes, it's going to be a little bit different. There's nothing about you on this page. Like, here, you're an attorney. Great. Here's your location. Here's your phone number. I can email you. That's good. Year joined firm, 2003. I'm assuming that it's your own firm, so you really didn't join it. You founded it. And then areas of practice, criminal defense on drugs and traffic violations. I don't see personal injury here. So already we have a little bit of miscommunication for what your firm does versus what you specialize in. It's a self-named firm, so I'm assuming that you do personal injury as well, which is not here. If you have partners, then they need to be, the law office of Timothy McCalep, and then, or McCalep, if that's how it's pronounced. I apologize if I did not pronounce that correctly. But the about should have a firm overview and then different profiles that we can click into. So there's a little bit of a discrepancy here in how you're representing yourself. Maybe that's where you're starting to get a hold up. There's also no information about where did you go to university? What did you specialize in there? Where's your bachelor's done? What associations are you a part of? There's a lot more that should be on this page, and probably like a paragraph or two just humanizing you to me. So I suggest adding to this page like an actual bio profile. Okay, so good call to action, although this is vague. And now we have an O. So again, the consistency of your name is not there. So that's why I focus on with that. And then again, Tim versus Timothy. These aren't necessarily unless you're doing, aha. So you're hosted right now through Thompson Writers. This is making much more sense. Why some of these details have been brushed over. So credit cards don't need to be on a website unless you're doing e-commerce. It's a little bit counterintuitive, especially because, like, to me, usually when I'm hiring Eternity, I'm assuming I'm writing a check. But if I want to run a credit card, I'm assuming you're taking them. So the funny thing is I actually used to work with FindLaw. So I actually know a lot about what they're doing for you. So this is really quite perfect. So you've probably been working with FindLaw since January 2017, January, February, although perhaps not. Usually, here's the blog. So you've been working with them, complete archives, since March, perhaps. I've just been typically underwhelmed with the amount of service that they provide. There's just some details like these two should be the same, like whomever has been doing this has been typing them in. Without caps consideration, caps should always be considered, especially because they're popular topics, so they're going to be over here. If you're doing them yourself, then this is really important for you to consider. So it looks like you've been keeping up pretty okay with the blogs. Really, you should be doing it weekly. That's just from an SEO standpoint. So then the news, I guess, is anything like this. This isn't linked, so that needs to be corrected. And really, these could be showcased better. And then especially, you've got logos that could be on your website as well. So if FindLaw is maintaining it, which I believe it is, I would make that request to them, or you came to us for our opinion, and we have a background with working with lawyers that have come from FindLaw. So this is something that we could provide for you too. Having logos of news or awards on your site adds trust to your site and makes me want to work with you. So anyway, so criminal defense. There's no images. Are these all links? Wow. Okay, so the criminal defense linked, and then the personal injury link should be in your header here. So like they're kind of right in that you don't want to have a whole lot of different links in your header, but either we could do a drop down for abouts and then about you, and then criminal defense and personal injury, although whatever it is that you actually focus on, because your about page isn't descriptive enough. So either having a drop down here so that I can get back and find where I've been, or having them redundantly linked again on the about page, and then also here, because I'm going to go down the rabbit hole. Like I'm going to click on all of these, or on the one that I'm really specifically interested in. Go on. So yeah, they're already organized as drop downs. So now I can't get back. Well, I guess I can use the breadcrumbs. It's just not organized in as easy of a manner as I would like. If I'm a web designer, so I figured this out pretty quickly that here's where I was and I can go back. Somebody might not be able to figure that out. Also, all of these could be linked on the homepage in a very reasonable way, so it doesn't look overwhelming to somebody who's there. But then I know, like, what does criminal defense even mean? Oh, sex crimes. Like, oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And images, there's not a lot of images here, so by the time I get down here, it's a wall of text. So those are kind of like my criticisms, is that the site is just missing a lot of clarity. I do appreciate that FindLaw breaks up their text with headers and bullets. Those are best practices on the web, so that's good. I do appreciate that it isn't just a giant drop-down menu with all of your services. It's the drop-down menu is actually here as a sidebar menu. That's a really good best practice as well. So they're not overwhelming people. I just would really like to see a little bit more consistency and a little bit more clarity, some images, humanizing you and your firm. So for one of the clients that I have that is a lawyer, we did internal photography for their office, and so I can see the office that I might be walking into. It makes me feel safe. You know, if I'm coming to you as a rape victim, I really need to feel safe in order to talk to you. And right now, this feels very stiff, and I don't feel like this really did it. So those are my main criticisms. The design is okay. As far as, you know, like colors and layouts and fonts and things, it's okay. I'm not overwhelmed, but it's definitely up to date, it seems. So that's good. Lots of interlinking. That's going to your Bruce Patel, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks like there's one missing up here too. So I think just like the detail orientation of somebody, like whomever is maintaining the site, it just needs to be a little bit better. Again, like your name is represented in 3 different ways. Your about page really doesn't do very much for you. There's really only one picture of you, which is fine for the headers, but I would love to see a different portrait of you for your about, and one that is a little bit more humanizing. Because again, when somebody approaches a lawyer, we're expecting a very specific cliche, right? So I would just consider that. If you're interested in working with us or having a consultation with us so I can describe further you know, my thoughts for the site, the direction I think I could take you, I'd be happy to do it. And so I will include my information in the email. But that's about it as far as what I see here. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that you you know, see where I'm coming from and can take this advice. And if you can't leverage it yourself, you know, we're here to do it for you and to collaborate with you. All right, so this was a Green Cup free website analysis, and I hope it was useful. Thanks.